Hello everyone and welcome back to AustinPlus commentary, where today we are reviewing the Marvel Zombies series. Now I know this is quite late, but here it is, so let's get to it. Now if this show has taught me anything, Marvel is fucking back, lads. Let's go. Marvel Zombies was a spin-off of a singular episode of What If, and boy did it cook. If we don't get a second season, I'm gonna be pissed. So obviously, the best characters in Marvel Zombies. Now, in my personal opinion, there was only basically three that I think were majorly important. Now, Blade Knight, just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. With the one thing with this character is that he needs a bit more. He needs more oomph. He needs more character development. We didn't learn much about him. We learned how the other Moon Knight died, but we don't know much about this type of Blade or Moon Knight. Now, by the way, we didn't get a Moon Knight Season 2, but we got a Blade. We never got a Blade in the MCU, so we just mixed the two together. Honestly, I'm not like, annoyed about that idea. I think it's a sound idea. But we need a bit more of him. I loved his skills. I loved his, like, monotoneness. I loved the look of him. Absolutely amazing concept art that was released for Blade Knight. Absolutely amazing. But he needs to be a bit more. I would love to see him in live action.
Well, no fucking shit.
Getting a skin in Marvel Rivals of him for, obviously, Blade, I'm happy with that. Obviously, like, I don't have any Blade skins in Marvel Rivals. I know this is a bit of a side note, but that skin was absolutely amazing. Now, the Queen of Dead in this show, so in the last one, we just had one episode where she was essentially, like, the queen of everything, obviously, but she was, like, she was mind controlling everyone, but she didn't know she was still a zombie. But in this show, she was more humanized, and she felt like more like a villain who knew what she was doing while she was either a human or a zombie or however she looked. And she wanted to take over the world with her illness.
What did he say?
Now, I'm no expert. That's fucked up. But I think that concept was really cool. It wasn't just like a zombie going blah, blah, blah. There was evil behind it. And that's the kind of thing I would expect from especially the MCU's version of Wanda. Now, Kamala was the only other good character I think you can really put a pin in with this show. Because there was a variety of characters, some that didn't really live. But in terms of story and in terms of character development, she was basically the only one I could really think of. She was the core of it all. She was the person that Scarlet Witch was consistently going after. Oh, no, sorry, the Queen of the Dead was consistently going after. Because everyone else was basically a side character. But she just wanted her. And I think this also shows that she was a very good character and her story isn't ended. Kamala is a very good character, and she was also a very good vessel in terms of bringing this series' story to a full loop. You had characters like Kate Bishop as well, Ironheart, Icarus. You had all these characters that were still human, but amazing in terms of like having her as the core aspect of it. You also had like the Infinity Hulk. You could have used anyone. But Kamala, I think, was the perfect vessel for this series' story. And I do believe there's many more characters that could probably play into that instrument as well. Now, as I said, the rest of the characters were very much more like side characters. Kate Bishop, on the other hand, she was a side character. She didn't last long, but she had some amazing one-liners. We also got her first swearing in like an animation.
What?
So, that was cool. But other than that, everyone was, at least to me, pretty much all the same. Either you are a zombie or you're dead. It's not rocket science.
Cheers, Jeff.
Now, in terms of best episodes, every episode was definitely different. And just the best part of the whole show is, well, the zombies of the whole story. Now, some of the best moments that I can really think of off the bat were the Namor attack on, like, the raft boat. I still don't know how that thing held out. And what I thought was fascinating in the first episode was that Icarus and Captain Marvel fight. Icarus was fighting Captain Marvel, and then Captain Marvel was like shooting things at the ground because of Icarus. I thought Icarus was a zombie. He wasn't. He was just fighting Captain Marvel for 5 years, apparently.
One eternity later.
That's a lot of resilience, if you ask me, and a lot of strength. I wasn't the greatest fan of the Thor episode, because he was basically just there for like 2 seconds and he got eaten, or like then he got infected, so he just was like a mopey person, but I didn't like that. I liked the reveal of what Wanda's personal like actions were. That was cool, but other than that, that episode was really dumb. But the final battle with Hulk and the Infinity Hulk, that was very cool. And then we understand where all of the Avengers are. And then we also see the link with Kamala. I think that it came full circle. I thought every episode was just going to be a different episode on how everyone is going to get infected or how someone fought off an infected. But all of them were linked somehow. They were all very different in terms of characters and difference and more. But they were still all linked together. The deaths were meaningful until they were turned into zombies, in which I was just like, well, tough luck in it. But to be fair, I don't know what I was expecting from a show called Marvel Zombies, other than the fact that you're infected and we are going to eat you. Now, people are always wondering what are the chances of season 2. Personally, I'm not too sure, actually. Marvel initially wasn't planning on it, but this has made people actually talk about the brilliance of Marvel again. Marvel did say they weren't planning on doing a Marvel Zombies season 2 until they saw the really great reception for this, and now they are actually working on a script or a story in how to loop this. So it would make sense to keep on going with this story, or even make it a full season, like 8 episodes, like What If did, and carrying on with these at least these character stories. Especially Blade Knight. You just have to, man. Come on. That's just a no-brainer. I would definitely like to see season 2, especially the way that season 1 ended. You could just leave it at that, but I would like to see more, and I know I'm not the only one. Now, overall, this was a perfect show in terms of Marvel Zombies. It had a couple of good jump scares. Now, I watched this with a friend. So, where my TV is right now, there's this chair, which is what I actually use to watch TV and where I watch a load of my shows now. What we did was we had this chair, I moved it there, and we both watched it, and we both watched Marvel Zombies. We weren't planning on it, it was very spontaneous, we just put it on, and we just got hooked. And 30 minutes apiece, we finished it in 2 hours, it was fun. But there was a few jump scares.
Oh, great heavens!
It was good as well. It didn't jump scare me, but every time Wanda just showed her face at some point, it was terrifying. But this shows that Marvel can change, but they just need to listen to the audience a bit better. They don't want to fall into the same trap that the DCEU did. Now, and I do think these types of extreme, meaningful stories should be how these shows go on, and they should be a vessel to introduce new characters rather than giving them their own show and blowing it. Now, finally, the impact on the MCU. Very big question. I will not say this will have a major impact on the MCU, as this is an isolated Earth and it's an isolated storyline. I would like to see Blade Knight with the ability of Khonshu seem like a lot higher than the Moon Knight. He could maybe jump through realities, but I don't think this will have a major impact on the MCU. But maybe shifting some of the characters or having them cameo in like Secret Wars or Doomsday would be amazing. But as in the big picture, not that much. Now, this isn't to say that they won't make it into live action. They probably will with the reception that this probably made. I mean, imagine making the prosthetic in a zombie form. Everyone would eat that up. But without further ado, everyone, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And comment what else you would like to see on the channel. And comment what else you thought about the Marvel Zombies show. But without further ado, hope you have an amazing day as always. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah.